Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening and welcome back to Computerized Start Live. I'm your host, Justin D. Morgan. Whew. And I decided to start the intro and then drag 3 boxes of stuff downstairs. That was a mistake. Anyways, welcome to a special Tuesday edition where I am going to catch my breath after trying to beat the animation to get things downstairs. And because I had to get my hat too. And meanwhile, you all are sitting at your computers and you're like, well, we're not out of breath. All right. Let's see what we have in the chat. We have... All right. Before I get distracted again, focus. There we go. No, phone, that's not what I want. Alright, fine. Hold, please. I'm putting my phone into Do Not Disturb mode so that I can actually focus on streaming. There we go. Do Not Disturb. Alright, there. Now I can focus on the chat. Alright, we have Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack. 5 hours early. Hi, Jeremy. Long time no see. We have Thomas Armstrong. Hi, Thomas. We have Francois. But I must sleep. Hi, Francois. We have Trina's Technobabble. Hi, Trina. We have Evil XYZZY. Hi, welcome. Very curious if the card is indeed a radius. I opened the machine up to see, and we think we identified it, and I apologize for the blue tape on the case. I didn't want to pinch, so no screws. All right. We have Jesse, I83D6SX. Hi, Jesse. And we have... Oh, yes, Evil XYZZY is Tom Arnold. Tom is the person I picked the Macs up from. So thank you, Tom. I believe I did get them home safely. We have David Starbuck. Hi, David. Yes, I think I did get them home safely. All right, let's see here. We got the Ko-fi Go links in the description. And before we get to the Macs, you all know there's usually something, so let's go ahead and roll the following PSA.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment, Wheel of Regrets. Here's your host, Justin D. Morgan!
Hey, who comes up with these titles anyway?
All right. Well, we do have one item. I accidentally disabled the wrong thing there. I think I have re-enabled it. And we have one box. And there is a reason why there is an N64 setting beside the one box here. I could have used it yesterday, but no, it had to arrive today. Jeremy says, forget shipping when you can drive for 5 hours, lol. Well, they probably survived better. Jeremy's asking, is it another N64? No, I only need one N64, but it may have something to do with the N64. Let's see here. This comes to us from an eBay seller in Florida. So, hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Florida. I'm not expecting that I'm going to get any different results with this. But we have an actual, honest to goodness, U.S. market Nintendo power supply for the N64. There we go. You can see it is a model NUS002 USA. Input AC 120 volts. And the outputs are the same voltages. So this power supply should be absolutely correct for this N64 here in my house. Okay. Of course the cord had to be. Jeremy says, I've seen those fry. Well, I'm hoping it doesn't, because it's an actual Nintendo power supply. It would be a shame if... But anyways, I will check voltages first. If you saw the stream last night, you would know that I attempted to test it with the Japanese market power supply, and the N64 did nothing. The voltages did seem to be within spec. But let's see here. 3.3 volts is... Well, that's even higher than the Japanese one was. But no load, that's probably fine. And 12 volts. All right, at least we're at 11.13, so... Anyways, we will make sure the console power is off. We will plug the power supply in. I do have a Nintendo AV cable around here somewhere. Here it is. I think it might actually still be plugged in. Maybe. Maybe not. You know, I may have actually unplugged it. Let me go check, assuming I can get back there, because I set... Oh, no, I reopened my path. That's why I was a few minutes late. I also had to make sure I could get back here, because I left stuff on my workbench. Because I probably made the comment last night that I will probably forget I've done this, and by golly, I did. Oh! Nope, okay. We are on AV2. There we go. We are on AV2. So let's see here. All right, we do have a red light when I turn it on. So let's see if we get anything on the video. I'm going to use my standard test cartridge here. Let's go to capture input and we will turn it on. And I believe we again have absolutely nothing. All right, well. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, because it's probably the N64 itself. Never fear. I placed an order with Console 5 today. And then realized that I should have probably waited till tonight when I opened the box so that I knew what revision power supply this one was inside. I have unplugged it. So let's go ahead and take a quick peek in here so I know what kit I need, because I'll probably need to recap it. But I did order a cap kit for the N64. because I suspect it needs caps as well. All right, I believe this is the proper game bit. I don't know why I even bothered testing it. The eBay seller said that it had no power. I just kind of figured maybe they made a mistake somewhere and I'd be able to fix it easily, but it probably needs recapped. Alright. Even though I already ordered a cap kit, I at least do want to know what power supply is in here, because I will probably recap this as well. After all, the caps are 30 years old. Oh, there we go. Alright. Because I just had this plugged in, I am not making any assumptions as to what may or may not have a charge. If you don't know what you're doing, you do not want to meddle with these power supplies. They have caps that can contain a nasty charge after unplugged. They can also be difficult to disassemble without instructions. Oh, it might be because there's actually a clip. No. Alright, I don't see any screws. There must... Alright, all I need to do is find a model number in here, and we'll be good for now. Oh, why do I get the impression there's adhesive holding this board to the top? Something is... Oh. Oh. Okay, there must be some clip. Hold, please. Oh, hey, Topaz, welcome. Yes, we are in Wheel of Regrets. The N64 power supply I ordered came in today, of course. And no, it did not fix the problem. So I'm just seeing what cap kit I need. Jesse's asking, is that the definition of insanity? That might actually be the definition of insanity. Expecting a different result. I do not know how you're supposed to take these apart. Alright, well, I don't smell any fish, so maybe I just leave this together for now and come back to it much, much later. Oh, wait a minute. I think I see the part number now. Let me pull up Console 5's website and yep, we'll get to the Mac Pluses here in a moment. Wheel of Regrets comes first. Alright, N64, 110-volt power supply. Oh, is this maybe a Mitsumi or a Zebra? LSEP. No. LSEP 01128. There's the number I was looking for. Alright, 01128. Excellent. Actually, this is a Nintendo one. LSJB0. Alright, I have identified the power supply. I will add that to order next time I place an order with Console 5, and I am going to see if there is any hints on opening the power supply, because I don't know how you're supposed to disassemble it. But anyways, I found the identifying mark I needed. It is right here on the bottom. So I don't need to disassemble this any further tonight. So we will go ahead and put the lid back on and put the screws back in. And notice that Nintendo is telling us that this is for indoor use only, which just makes me so want to play N64 games outside in a raging thunderstorm. That shouldn't violate too many of Nintendo's do's and don'ts for the system, should it? All right. So we know what this is. I am kind of curious. Just out of curiosity. The Japanese power supply that I was sent by mistake by the previous eBay seller, I'm wondering if inside this is actually one of the same power supplies. And if it is, I might recap it too. So let me just take a quick peek. And then I will get to the Mac Pluses. Or I'll find out that this is a completely different power supply and forget about the whole idea. Because why recap one when you can recap two at twice the price? Now, this power supply has not been opened for, or plugged in for about 24 hours now, so, but still, don't go monkeying in Japanese market power supplies either, if you don't know what you're doing, because even though Japanese power is 100 volts instead of 120 volts, it still might be dangerous. Oh, this is a Zebra power supply. Interesting. This isn't actually a Nintendo. So the US power supply I bought is actually a Nintendo power supply, but this one's a Zebra power supply. Interesting. Alright, does Console 5 sell a cap kit for this? Let's look at the list. This is a Zebra E4184. Ooh, 4501E. That is... Oh, wait a minute. E4184... 4501E. Yes! Console 5 does sell a kit for this power supply. Alright. I will add that to my list as well. And actually, that might also confirm that maybe the only difference between this power supply... Oh, wait a minute. That's neat. That's a UL mark right there. So despite the fact that this is a Japanese market power supply, the PCB itself has a UL mark, which maybe goes to what I think Thomas Armstrong was saying, that it was probably the same power supply inside. It just wasn't labeled for US market sale. There's no UL mark on the power supply, because if it was being sold in Japan, it wouldn't need a UL mark. But I think... Oh, and Japan doesn't have polarized power plugs. So the power cord is like the quite flimsiest dealy-do in the world. Oh yeah, but the cord is actually rated for 120 volts. Almost like they knew that someone might bring one of these over to the US and plug it in. David's asking, doesn't Japan use similar main voltages? Okay, so Japan is 100 volts AC at 50 or 60 hertz. It depends on where you are in the country. Like the north half of the country is one frequency and the south half is the other. And there's actually like power grid converters in the middle of the country that allow the two grids to be connected, but they change they adapt the frequency. It's actually kind of interesting, says the controls engineer. But yeah, US is 120 volt nominal. So they are close enough that it does not surprise me that Zebra might have made one PCB that probably really was like 100 to 120 volt. And just the outer case has the regulatory markings for the region where they actually wanted to sell it. But the inside of the power supply might be the same. But anyways, all right. That concludes Wheel of Regrets. Tune in next time when who knows what we'll have from eBay. And without further ado, before the angry mobs come knocking down the door, let's look at some Mac Pluses. And I have a feeling we should probably start with the one with the radius card. So, for the initial power-up, I think I'll actually mail this to Mike's house, tell Steve to stop by, have Mike plug it in, and run away. Hi, Bruce, welcome! And we have Mega. Hi, Mega. Yes. So, this is our first Mac Plus. As you might be able to see, it does have a cord sticking out of it. Tom Arnold is the person I picked these up from. He did some sleuthing online to try to figure out what this card is. And the consensus was this is a radius card, so we will take this thing further apart and maybe try to confirm. But before plugging in any Macintosh Plus, or 128 or 512 for that matter, I would recommend opening it up and double checking the analog board. Because the analog board in these have a REFA capacitor that is active the moment you plug the power cord in. So you can plug the power cord in, not even turn the thing on, and the REFA could decide to go pop. And then you will have a air freshener, in air quotes. It's more like an air defreshener. No one wants an air defreshener. Especially if you have a significant other and they've planned a party and are going to have lots of guests over and they're cleaning the house and they tell you that just go do whatever, but don't you dare wreck the clean house before our guests arrive, and then you decide to plug in your compact Mac that has a REFA cap in it, and it goes poof, and, well, you're in the doghouse now. David Starbucks says, Are you sure it's not an Ulna card? I don't know. So, this Mac has been disassembled. That is why there was blue tape holding it shut. Because well, things are out of place and it needs to be reassembled. But anyways, let's go ahead and see if we can't slide the back cover off carefully. Diameter card. I mean, it could be a I mean, it could be an area card. And you're probably now seeing some of the signs that there is something in here that is not stock. I'm also trying to get the cable pushed out. Alright, so... Alright. Oh, I did not want to break that, but that was inevitable. I broke one of the tabs on the security slot. Alright. I was trying to be gentle, but... Oh, David says it was a poor anatomy joke. Oh. Which many people probably... Oh, yeah. Okay, I get your joke now that I realize it was an anatomy reference. Alright. I will replace this zip tie later. I want to unplug this cable, which does have a key pin in it, so I should be able to plug it back in. Oh, that's interesting. Alright, and I need to disconnect a ground cable. And I know I've already seen something interesting, and I can't show you yet because I need to get the ground cable loose so I can move the... Alright. So there's an extra ground in the system. Someone's done a little bit of metal work, it looks like. Although, some of the metal work may have been included with the upgrade. But there's an extra metal frame holding this card in. And the ground wire that is on the video cable is attached to that with a nut and a screw. There we go. Now I've got the video cable out. Also, the video cable is keyed, so I don't think I'll have to worry about forgetting how to plug it in. Alright, and we do have some shenanigans going on here. Paging Action Retro. Paging Action Retro. Oh, someone installed a fan in this computer. Well, I can tell you one person that wasn't. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs hated fans. Or so I've heard. I never got to ask him personally, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate fans? His response might have been 3,600 RPM. Alright, so we have a totally normal computing experience here. We've got a Mac Plus. It's got a board on the back of it, as you can probably see. And there is an extra power supply here I think this is where the fan would plug in. And this is very interesting. Oh, and there is a ribbon cable running to this board on the back. And there is enough here that I cannot... Oh, confirmed, there is a reefa cap on the power supply. Hi, hardware hacker, welcome. I'm not really sure how best to tackle this. Part of me wants to remove the radius card further to maybe get a concrete identification. But part of me wants to remove the logic board. Oh yeah, part of me really wants to remove the logic board now. Unfortunately, I see something. I don't know how significant it is, but I do see something down in there. Anyways, we have quite the contraption. So we have this board here, which is believed to be a Radius video card. It does have a BNC connector on it. There is a hole drilled in the case for this to go through. There is also a DB9 or a 9-pin connector that plugs into a cable down here on the side. And I think I'm zoomed out as far as I can. There is an extra power supply in this computer that is powering this board, I believe. I almost expected to see a SCSI drive installed internally. In fact, I think this frame here, I think actually can hold a hard drive. Because it looks like it's got holes drilled for one. So there's that. There's this power supply that I saw that's going to this board here. This is the connector for the fan. I think this may be the tap from the AC power supply. So I do like their use of a Molex plug for AC purposes. That hopefully doesn't get confused with DC. There is the floppy drive down in here, but as you can't see, now you can see there is a board down in here. And Trina says, that is some interesting jank. Yes. Paging Big Bad Biologist. Paging Big Bad Biologist. Paging Action Retro. Paging Action Retro. No, we are not going to just plug it in. There is a reefa cap. There is a reefa cap right there. And it is probably wanting to go. I don't know if I can, although that does appear to be the only one on the board. I might be able to unplug it, but I really want to pull this logic board out first and inspect it. That's actually one of the big ones, Bruce. That's actually the big one, not the little one. I know you all want me to send it, and alright, I'll tell you what. We will send it after I send it. And Tom says reefa caps are right up there with selenium rectifiers. For smells, it's hard to get out of the shop. Yes. Alright, I will, alright. Let me warm up the desoldering iron. And we will get this reefa out, and then I will prove to Bruce it's one of the big ones. And then maybe we will then just power this up and see what it does. I think I can get to it. Right. That Bruce says I could prove it by plugging it in. And oh, you don't have to flip the power switch. The reefa caps on these is not gated by the power switch. It's actually before the power switch. So all I would have to do is plug it in. All right, I am trying to identify the... there we go. I've identified the reefa component on the backside, so I should just be able to desolder it. Someone at Apple was kind enough to bend the leads over. All right, it should be... should, I believe, be this component right here. And if it's not, well, I will regret desoldering this component, probably. All right, so now let's see. Oh, I got it loose. Whatever it is, the component is loose, but probably glued to the board. Oh, whoops. I desoldered the wrong pins. All right, we will rectify that momentarily. Let me take a marker. And hi, 0.5, welcome. This is called Desoldering Stuff Blindly with Justin Morgan. Alright, I will warm up the soldering station. Luckily, I only desoldered 2 pins of a multi-pin component, so I can fix that easily. Also, let me pick the item I dropped on the floor for my convenience. There we go. Okay, so let's see here. That desoldering the wrong pins does explain why it didn't just fall out. Rena says that part needed to be resoldered anyway. Actually, no, not really. Well, at least the leads aren't... Alright. At least the leads aren't bent. Alright, I'm cutting the leads short so they don't stick into something I don't want them to stick into. I am going to very carefully push the component back into place. Alright. Alright. Let me solder it back into place here real quick. And then I'll get the reefa cap, which I attempted to mark with a marker and I don't think I did a very good job of it. Hey, Jean-Francois, welcome. For those of you just tuning in, I am attempting to remove a reefer cap. Without removing the analog board because of everything that is extra that is in this system and in the way of getting to the analog board. Alright, I'm pretty sure that... Alright, now I'm pretty sure that is the reefer cap. Alright, so now let me see. I'm not too worried about the neck board because there's a metal cage that will keep me from being able to ram my hand sideways into it. Although I do have to be careful because I'm sure I could find some way to still mess things up, but... Alright, I got one of the legs of the reefer out. Oh, I think... Alright, hold please. I think it's still hanging on by one of its legs. Alright, oh yeah, the leg's still kind of... Alright, and there we go. One reefer cap disarmed. Alright, now let's give this a power on test. And I'm going to use a SCSI box to make sure. I'm going to use a SCSI box to make sure that the logic board isn't touching any like little tiny metal bits on my silicon mat. Because I still don't know what happened to my SNES. Alright, so I am going to plug in the following. Alright, I'm going to plug in power, but the smart outlet is turned off. I am going to plug in a floppy emu if I can find the connector board. Or I'm going to... Well, okay, I can't find the connector board. Okay, we'll just do a power-up test. Alright, so I'm going to turn this on. And I'm going to turn the smart outlet on in 3, 2, 1. And we have a beep. And we have... Oh, we got video. Oh, and we've got a flashing... yeah, we got the international symbol of I don't like the disc. There's a disc stuck in the drive. All right. Bruce is saying that's not how you say emu. Just saying. What is it, like emu? Emu? I'm fairly sure that I could probably make the point that Americans say everything wrong, and at least the international audience would probably be in agreement. Like, yeah, you all can't say anything right. All right, so we had video. We got a floppy disk stuck in the drive. All right, well, it is stuck mid eject. So actually, even if I had the floppy emulator, that wouldn't work unless I unplug the floppy drive. So we'll have to do more disassembly to get to... Oh, Bruce says, well, if you're wanting it to sound like the bird, it's emu. All right, so it looks like we have one working Macintosh Plus of mystery. It beeps. It's got a disk stuck in the drive. We will have to remove this radius card to probably get to the floppy connector. I am tempted to see what time it is. Oh, it's not even 10 o'clock yet. All right. So I am going to very carefully I guess I'm going to very carefully set this down. I'm going to try to disconnect the radius card. It looks like the radius card is held in with 4 screws, and I guess I'm going to unplug this power cable, and then there's a ribbon cable. Okay, that power cable is quite stuck. I think I'm going to have to remove the card to be able to get the ribbon cable out. Is there any way that the logic board will come out? All right, I'm going to use my flashlight to get an idea of how interesting this solder board might be. Yeah, there's definitely a daughter board here, but I'm actually thinking it might just... Oh, I think I might see a brand name on it. No, it's a part name. I see a logo, but I can't read the logo. Wait. I don't recognize the logo. It looks like an abacus. Oh yeah, that is totally an abacus. I can't read the brand name that's under it, if there is one. But there is a picture of an abacus on the board. As far as the daughter board goes, I see a ribbon cable going to it, and I see a bunch of unpopulated components. I'm wondering if the daughter board is only tapping into the 68,000 processor through a is it a Killy clip? I don't know. You know, I think there might be something I can do. I might be able to reach in here and very carefully unplug the internal floppy cable. And then if I can find the DB19 adapter for my floppy emulator, then I can use it as an external floppy and the jammed disk won't stop us. Because I'm like starting to get concerned about how fragile the CPU connection might be. But you know, I think I still want to at least maybe remove this board and see if there's a brand name on it somewhere. Because the daughter board on the Mac Plus looks like it might be, well, there's a picture of an abacus on it. I don't know if that's the logo of the brand name, because I think there might have been a brand back then called Abacus, or if that maybe is maybe an internal development reference. All right, this one's going to be the here. We're going to stack a whole bunch of grounds together here. All right, how many grounds are there? There's one, two. Oh, there's like 3 grounds there. All right, and this board is actually starting to move. All right, let me see if I can. Oh, wow, there is not a lot of slack at all. Not a lot of slack. I'm not going to be able to get the card very far. It is copyright 1986 Micrographic Images Corp. Mega Screen. Micrographic Images Corp. Interesting. Oh, there is some like 40-year-old electrical tape insulating this thing. All right, let's see if I can get this power connector undone. It is in. Let me see if I can get the ribbon cable disconnected carefully. I don't know what the BNC connector's for. I really don't. Maybe if I get the card out, we might be able to... Maybe we can guess what its functionality might be by looking at what's on the card. But I don't know what it's for. All right, I got the card out. All right, so this is a micrographic images mega screen, copyright 1986, created by Chris Hull, Gary Landis, Joe Silva, and David Van Brink. And I don't know how that BNC connector is connected. It looks like the middle pin's probably connected to a trace that's coming from somewhere. All right, let me see if I can get the power disconnected now that I've got leverage on the board. All right, I don't know if any of those names ring a bell, but those are the names that are on this board. I mean, it probably is video out, but I don't know if it's composite video out or what. I don't know. I don't. All I know is that there were people online that thought this was a Radius card, and I'm not going to deny the fact that this could have been the product before they named themselves Radius. Jean-Francois says it's cool, whatever it is. Yeah, I'm just trying to get this power connector out so I can actually... Oh, you know what I could do? I could unplug the power connector from the secondary power supply. Let me just put a red mark on the PCB. Just so I remember which side's the red one. There we go. All right. Here we go. I got the board. It's free. So here's what the board looks like. There's the bottom. Micrographic images, mega screen, copyright 1986. Created by Chris Hull, Gary Landis, Joe Silva, and David Van Brink. The mega screen, I think's the product name. There's the part number 4008-0001. That's probably the serial number MGS0986. All right, 1549 is probably the actual serial number. So either this was probably 1549 or 549. They started at 1,000. And it looks like... All right, of the components, I think those top components are... I think they're memory chips. They are... TMS 4161s. Okay, I don't know what size chips they are, but anyways. And then there's a sticker on this chip here that I don't know what it is, but it does say 1418 in handwriting. And I have a feeling, as much as I would like to remove that sticker, it provides provenance. Words can be hard late. There is a PAL on it, so I'm wondering if that might be probably the video controller chip. There's a PAL. So that's that. Hi, Dave. Welcome. Jeremy says, it's nice how the created by is in copper instead of silkscreen. I guess that was to make sure that someone couldn't come along and erase their silkscreen. They wanted to make sure they got credit for it. The board appears to be in good shape, but I do not know what monitor this was intended to drive, and I most certainly don't have said monitor. All right. So now that I got that out, I might actually be able to get the logic board out, maybe. Oh. Well, normally the logic board just pulls out, but it looks like the oh wow, there's it's stuck. No, it's probably not. I doubt it's MDA, Jeremy. This was a Macintosh. I doubt it was an MDA monitor. It was probably going to be like a full page monitor if I had to guess. Hardware hacker is trying to source an NES with Duck Hunt and a light gun for testing with the Mac TV. Yeah, if I had to guess, it is probably either I mean, it's going to be a monochrome monitor, being a Mac Plus. But if I had to guess, it's going to be like a size monitor for desktop publishing. I doubt. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's outside the realm of possibilities that it's basically MDA, but most certainly the monitor it was driving was probably a white phosphor for desktop publishing. I would like to find more information on it before I just try to jam a monitor into it. All right. I would like to get the logic board out. And I don't know why I'm having so much trouble removing it. Other than the fact it's probably the ribbon cables. Jeremy says 1986 monochrome was everywhere back then. Okay, I guess what I was saying, Jeremy, I don't think it's going to necessarily be MDA, because that was a very PC-centric video standard. Oh. Oh, I don't know how they got this thing in, because I just realized in order to remove the logic board, I'm going to have to unplug the power connector, and I don't know. Yeah, I picked up the pluses. Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to get down to the power connector. I did get the floppy cable unplugged, so if I can find my external adapter for my floppy emulator. Then maybe we'll try booting it again into the snooper and see if there's see what the specs are. Yes, Jeremy tipped me off to the deal. I mean, I would think the light gun might work on a Mac TV as long as the input latency is pretty low. Oh, hey, Sylvestron, welcome. I am currently looking for. Oh, yeah, that's the AC. Oh, so I'm actually going to have to. Okay, before I can power this up, I do need to. You need to reconnect these grounds. Otherwise. Oh, that's the wrong. That screw's not going in there. Where did this screw go? Um. Oh, there we go. I think the screw goes here. All right. All right. Okay. So at least we've restored the ground for the separate power supply. Video board's off. Yes, I need to work on more compacts. I will work on that. I've got to work on my compact count. All right, let me see if I can plug in the floppy emulator into the internal port, and the answer is probably no. All right. What did I do with the external adapter? I don't know what I did with it. All right, so I guess we're gonna have to set this one aside until I can find the external adapter for my floppy emu. All right. Okay, we'll set this aside. We'll come back to it. Because I need to be able to plug in externally because I can't reach the floppy connector on the inside. Not without removing this hard drive tray that's been bolted in and I don't see how that's going to be easily removable. Okay, so we'll come back to this. It may not be tonight. It depends on how stubborn the adapter I need to find is going to be... I got the notification bell. All right. So, Mac Plus with a video card in it, and there's a mystery daughter board, but I think the daughter board is just there to interface with the display card. I don't see any signs that there's actually a processor upgrade on it. And okay. That'll be good enough. I just want to... Okay, I will have to find a place to set this down. Because I can't... Ugh. Alright. Alright, let me go find something to set this Mac Plus on. I'm going to have to set it display down in its current state of disassembly. I'll hold please. Okay, it is a... It would help if I could... I mean, maybe... I've got a box that came with these two Macs. There might be some documentation in one of the boxes. But there's what the card says. I don't know that that is going to help. John Francois says, monitors that era could be very weird. I have one that has an RCA jack but syncs at about 18 kilohertz, which is not standard composite. So I'm sure whatever the monitor uses is equally weird. Micrographic Images Corp. Yes. Mega Screen. And there's the names of who created it. Chris Hull with an H, like the part of a boat. Chris Hull, Gary Landis, Joe Silva, and David Van Brink. I don't know if any of those names are going to bring anything up on the internet, because I don't know if any of those are ex-Apple employees, which could mean that something might come up. Good night, Trina. We'll talk to you later, and I'll get you a shipping quote as soon as I have a non-live streaming night and can do it. I'll try to do it tomorrow. Oh, here we go. It is an advertisement. Oh, good find. I think that's it. All right, let me go to screen share. Here we go. It is the Mega Screen 2. Okay, so this may be a follow-on product. It does look like it's a 2-page display. I do know Radius sold a lot of 2-page displays. And there we go. The 19.5-inch monitor to give you a 520% bigger picture from Micrographic Images. And is that Canoga Park, California? I don't know why there's a mouse but no keyboard. Yeah, they should have probably fired the photographer that did that. Or Apple paid them off to hide the keyboard. David Starbucks says, David Van Brink. Ian says it apparently does NTSC output. All right, well, let's see here what the article says. Introduced in July of 86, has grown to be the largest selling big screen system for the Macintosh Plus with the current installed base of over 3,000 units. And this one's unit maybe 1549, so halfway. Maybe it's the halfway unit. Micrographic Images now introduces a new system to the family, Mega Screen 2. Okay, so this article is on the follow-on product. Mega Screen 2 eliminates features such as NTSC compatibility and cooling fan and options such as internal hard disk drives and math coprocessors. Wait a minute. How many pins is that socket? Math coprocessors? Is that a math coprocessor on that board by chance? Now I do want to remove that label, because that has the right number of pins for a math coprocessor. Or maybe it's on the daughter board. NTSC compatibility and cooling fan. Options as internal hard disk drives and math coprocessors. Well, that would probably explain the contraptions inside of this Mac Plus. All right, offers the same high quality 19.5-inch external monochrome monitor. The P104 white phosphor in the monitor gives a crisp, clean image. Yeah, so it's going to be a white phosphor. All right, so the Mega Screen 2 has a MSRP of $2,490. I think that might be a 5. While Mega Screen Plus is offered at $29.95. The 68881 mathematical coprocessor option for Mega Screen Plus is $495. 20 megabyte add-on internal hard disk is available for Mega Screen Plus. Pricing information for Apple employees and Apple dealers is available. Yep. Canoga Park, California. Founding partners. Well, there's David Van Brink, Chris Hall, Joe Silva, and what was the last name? Gary Landis. Oh, founding partner. So there we go. There's Gary Landis. That's one of the names on this card. David Van Brink, Chris Hall, and Joe Silva. Apparently, there was a couple other founding employees. And there we go. Apparently, they had gross annual sales in probably 1990 of 13 million, 25 employees, founded in 1981. Interesting. Oh, wow. Did you know there was a 68080 floating point coprocessor? I sure didn't. In fact, I'm pretty sure Motorola probably didn't either. That. Oh, look at that. There's a Mac hiding in that tank. Oh, and at least they have the keyboard there. Mega Talk. All right. Oh, all right. Interesting. It looks like Gutbomb found another, or Sylvestron found another link from Macworld. Check page 62 on the right. All right. Oh, this is a old Macworld. All right, let me go to page 62 here. You know, I could almost have a stream where I go through an old issue of Macworld. All right, trying to find page 62. Doesn't help that. And page 62. Wait a minute. Oh, here we go. I think I see it. Here we go. So here we go. Article on Big Screen Macs. Here's a mention. Mega Screen from Micrographic Images takes the big screen concept one step further. The Mac screen appears on a 19.5-inch high-resolution monitor, the same one used for Sun workstations, at 1024 by 921 pixel resolution. Okay, that I'll need to know if I would ever try to get a RGB to HDMI profile to work with it. In effect, Mega Screen displays 4 to 6 times the surface area of the standard Macintosh screen. Hardware includes a proprietary graphics controller, a power supply, and an interface to the motherboard. Mega Screen has outputs for both TTL and NTSC composite video. Programs like MacDraw, PageMaker, Ready Set Go, Professional CAD for the Mac, MicCAD, and Quick Circuit take advantage of the full screen and resolution without any problems. The monitor costs $15.95 and Mega Screen sells for $14.95. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Apple tells you to set your Mac flat on a surface. Anyways, that's pretty cool. So there we go. We actually did manage to find some information on this card. So I will download both of these files. Just in case the originals disappear from the internet. Then at least I'll have that information. Jeremy says it would be nice to know what model that Sony monitor is. Well, there's no guarantee I'd be able to get said Sony monitor. Oh, Sylvester says check the GitHub link above. I missed a link. Jason's asking, does the daughter card have a SCSI port on it? I don't know if the daughter card has a SCSI port on it because I couldn't get the logic board out. It's yep, the math code should be on the daughter board. Yep, okay, that makes sense. This is probably the graphics controller then. Bruce says there are pinouts and drivers on the GitHub page. I'm trying to find the... Oh, there's the GitHub link. All right. Oh, there we go. All right. Hold, please. I missed the GitHub link. All right, let me... I've got it now. The chat scrolled fast. All right. All right. So it looks like here's a picture of the Mega Screen 3 daughter board on an SE. Oh, okay. All right, Mega Screen models. All models of Mega Screen listed here have 128K of onboard VRAM, supported NTSC video output, supported expanding with the 68881 math coprocessor, use TI graphics system processor chip, and so they're all compatible with software drivers. Okay. Mega Screen Plus for the Macintosh Plus. Mega Screen 2 uses a processor clip. Oh, okay. So maybe the Mega Screen Plus maybe is better attached. And Mega Screen SE. That's neat. All right. Not sure if System 7 is compatible. So it looks like. Oh, this must be the Mega Screen SE. What was it? The SEM? Because there's no math coprocessor socket, but that's probably the expansion port. But that is, I think that is an SE PDS slot connector. All right, connecting your external monitor. All right. Connect composite video. You should use an S-video plug on the monitor end. DE9 pinout. It looks like there's okay, well there's the pinout. So that would let me get, probably use an RGB to HDMI, although the resolution is kind of weird. So let me see here. I'm curious. What does it have the TI graphics controller part number? Mm, oh, the TMS 34061 FNL graphics system processor. And then, oh, those TMS 4461s are fast page dual port video DRAMs. 64K by 4 dual port. Neat. Cool. All right, so I started this repository, so I'll be able to go back to it. But yeah, good technical information. Probably can get an adapter working, or just plug that into NTSC video. And we have something. But yeah, there we go. Now, I am curious, before we get to the other Mac Plus, so I'll set my... All right, so let me go start to grab contents out of the box. So I got the 2 Mac Pluses, and there was also a box of stuff that goes with the Mac Pluses. So let's go through the contents of the box quickly. I will skip the keyboard because everyone's seen a Mac Plus keyboard. So, well, it's a Mac Plus keyboard. All right. I'll have to clean up the bubble wrap later. Yeah, this is where we might get some good stuff here. So, there are a number of boxes of floppy disks that were with these 2 Mac Pluses. First of all, we have a box of labels, and this is just labels. They're blank labels, so I'll set that aside. We've all seen labels. We do have 4 boxes of floppy disks, which we'll go through and see what's in here. Mac84 says, me want label. Be careful what you wish for, Steve. That box of labels might have an included... what's a printer that you have way too many of? Steve says, Jason and I can archive the floppies if needed. All right. He has his image writer too. Steve says, nonsense, I don't have too many printers at all. All right, so let's see what's in this box here to the side. Oh, there's more floppy disks in here. Actually, let's get the non-floppy disk stuff off the bench. All right, so we have, I think, a keyboard cable. I will have to confirm that that is a proper keyboard cable. We have another keyboard cable. We have a mouse. We got a power cord. A power cord or two. Jason says. Oh, I didn't ask for printers this weekend. Darn, I missed my opportunity. Yeah, Tom's saying I should have sent you home with some printers. I have way too many. Yeah, I forgot to ask about printers. Darn. I will just have to settle for the one image writer 2 that I have and be happy with it. Oh, and we have an ADB mouse because those are like everywhere. We have an 800K external drive, so I'm pretty sure I'll need replace the cheese gear in it. But, oh, and I think there might be a floppy disk stuck in it. So, yes. So there's that. 800K floppy drive. That's the first one of those I have, so that's quite useful. And I think we have a 400K floppy drive here. Oh, yeah, and it's got a vintage label on it. Warning, 400K single-side drive. I think I probably know what led to that warning. All right, we have the hardware bag for the Mac Plus that we looked at. So there's the battery door, the programmer switch, and the screws. I will be sure to put those somewhere where I will lose them. I mean, I'll eventually find them, don't worry. All right. Oh, hi. Yeah. Jesse says, see, because of me now, they have a warning. And Steve says, warning useless. We have possibly unrelated manuals in this box. We have WordStar 2000, Release 3.5, supplemental printer information. I'll be sure to send that to Steve. The WordStar 2000 command card. The WordStar customer service booklet. The WordStar CompuServe offer. It looks like some DIN 5 keyboard cables. Oh, I bet those might be MIDI cables. All right, another box of floppy disks. More floppy disks. Steve says, my car will have some space at VCF Midwest. Lol, why did I type that? Oh, and then these manuals are all WordStar related. So, all right, we'll leave those. We'll leave those WordStar things in the box. All right, so let's see what we have in the boxes. In this box, this says Kodak micro discs. Yes, kids, there used to be a company called Kodak. Actually, I think they are still around. They used to make cameras and film, and I think they still make film, but in less amounts. They also used to make floppy disks, because I guess when you're making film for cameras, and floppy disks have some of the same materials in them, so why not make disks? So we've got, let's see if there's anything. Jesse says, I still have a smallish car, and I already committed to hauling home at least one compact. Jason says, I still buy Kodak photo development chemicals for my darkroom. And Steve says, they now make cheap crap. Yeah. I think, I think these might be blank discs. Yay. I think these are going to be user documents and some blank discs. Nothing earth-shattering in that box. All right, box number 2. It is a incomplete Sony disc holder. Looks like it lost its lid a long time ago. If I see anything interesting, I will pause. Other than the fact that they left some of their discs in the plastic sleeve. Yeah. It's Christmas 93. PC backup. All right. Document discs. Harder Hacker says, it's a Kodak moment. All right, we have a Maxell floppy disk box. War at Sea backup. Is that a game? Game for Tom. Oh, okay, that's a game disc. Hellcats Over the Pacific. Unauthorized reproduction is expressly prohibited and against the law. So not only is it expressly prohibited, but it is also against the law. I think maybe they could have had someone proofread that sentence, because I'm flagging that as redundant. That might actually be a legitimate game disc. There we go. We got an Apple disc that simply says Millionaire on it. Another Apple disc that says Sea Stacker. Airborne. Oh, look at that, with a little hand-drawn tank. Some of these may be... Oh, yep. These must be games. Sargon 3. That's a chess game. I recognize that one. Bomber BU. BIW Warpoon.sit. So it looks like they had to compress that. Oh, there. That could be interesting. Reach for the Stars. The Conquest of the Galaxy. Macintosh 512K. Microsoft Flight Simulator 1.0. Stian says, or Airborne with an exclamation mark, if I remember the branding correctly. Stian says, I spent some time spending on Airborne. Sylvester says, I had an 07 Mazda 3, amazing cars. Once fit a whole futon sofa in the back. Jeremy says, that was B/W is in black and white. Yeah. Okay, so there were a few games in here. I'll have to look to see if they've been archived or not. All right, we've got Hellcat's C1 Master unlocked. Oh, surely this person wasn't into, like, things that were expressly prohibited and against the law. Finder events, install fractions? Or is that instant fractions? I should probably zoom in so you all can maybe help me decipher these. That's probably a program. Sim Earth. Backup. I'm pretty sure BU is for backup. Battle of Britain. Chipwits. Okay, I think I recognize that. Dungeon. And is that Covert Action? Klondike. Probably a solitaire program. Air Traffic Controller 5.0.1. I hope the FAA has not been looking for this disc for the past 30 years. Something I can't read. Something I can't read. Bonk. Something I can't read, and video poker. Yeah. Probably games. Oh, and Night 0.7. Bork. Or it could be Bork, yeah. Jason says Bork is a dumb game. The Mac one, I mean. Jeremy thinks that first one is Hearts, maybe. H-E... H-E... It doesn't look like Hearts to me, but maybe it is supposed to say Hearts. Alright. That disc has gotten enough screen time. Alright. Server welcome. Network time. Dungeon of Doom 4. That sure looks like McDunk demo, but I'm pretty sure that's not what that was. Visual sort. Hextress. Sylvestron thinks that's Hextress. Yes, that is Hextress. Good eyes. Midway demo. Midway demo. Yeah, it could be Midway demo. All right, I'll pause for a moment. All right. Microsoft Flight Simulator 4.0. Oh, so they got 1.0 and 4.0. Blockade, instant percent. I don't know what that first one says. It kind of looks like Biblos. LPNC tutorial and math attack. I don't think that says Bibles. It looks like it's got the... But I don't know. I can't tell what that says. Hardware hacker thought Dungeons and Dragons. David Starbuck is meth addicts. I think that's a more modern problem than these discs. I don't see Dungeons and Dragons. Instant decimals. Glider. Okay, that's definitely Glider. Robot battle. Polynomials. Evobots. Oh, in one of the blue ones, there was Dungeons and Dragons. Okay. All right. Well, it looks like Dungeons of Doom. Dungeon. I think is that it one? Dungeon. It looks like Dungeon of Doom. Oh, a bunch back. Okay. All right. If you see anything interesting, let me know. I'll totally, if necessary, I'll totally send discs to someone to archive. I will want the discs back though, but if there is anything of any significance, I will totally send it to someone who's got the proper things to archive Macintosh discs, because I actually don't have anything like an applesauce. Oh, there we go. We have Zork 3. Games 9.0 or Games 90. Probably 90. Mac slots. Glider +3. Glypha 3. Stella Obscura. Bombs version 1.2 and Morse Code Tutor. Space Station Beta, Risk. Beyond Dark Castle Disc 2. Beyond Dark Castle Disc 1. Oh, it's an NMAC Plus microfloppy. Free fun with a smiley face. Instant math check. Instant math sheet. I don't know. Adventure 3D tic-tac-toe. Crystal Quest. Green ink. This disc for backup, so that's boring. Mac Jack. Music Works. Oh, Stan says Crystal Quest was fun. They became Cassidy and Green later on. Yeah, I was thinking that same thing, that it was ringing a bell. A mystery disc that the label's fallen off of. Gato Sim Earth Color. I guess they didn't have that box of labels when they made that copy. Hitchhiker. Oh, here we go. That disc is probably Ancient Art of War at Sea. Yes, Jeremy's pointing out gato is cat in Spanish. Yes. This seems like a very niche game. The Ancient Art of War at Sea. That's probably what that disc is, because it's a loose label that was in the box. Oh, looky there. We have the actual Gato game disc from Spectrum Holobyte. Harrier Strike Mission 2. Stian says, Ancient Floppy of War at Sea. Yeah. David Starbuck says, sounds like the precursor to World of Warships. Shuttle. And that's a Maccessories brand disc. Cal Macintosh. Packet 3, Harry Chesley. Bomber. Oh, and looky there. They actually have the actual Microsoft Flight Simulator disc. I am shocked. Although I'm kind of suspicious that it only fits on one disc, but whatever. All right, so there we go. All of those discs, and none of them are the drivers for that video card. Ian says, Packet 3 was a compression utility, but Stuff It outcompeted it. Dave says, I had that on my Mac 512 Gato submarine game. Yeah. All right, so there we go. Those are the discs. I guess if anyone go, I will probably go at some point and just kind of check to see if things are already archived. And it may be if things are archived, but they don't have a good photo of the disc, and it's one of the ones that I have the original label of. I'll take photos and so people can at least enjoy what the disc looks like. And that's assuming they work. These are like 30 or 40-year-old discs. Jeremy says, I thought cats hated water. Hardware Hacker says, most do, but some don't. Yes, I have heard of cats that love water. I have also heard of cats that fall into the bath and then get water everywhere in an attempt to try to get out of the bathtub as quick as possible. I.e., they basically turn into a flying fur ball of wetness. Great. So, we have time, so let's take a look at the other Mac Plus. I have tried to knock it over at least twice. Let's take a look at it before I can manage to succeed. So this one has a Fanny Mac on it. Oh, Tom says, you met a cat that loves water this weekend. The whitish cat loves to lay in my bathroom sink and scare the heck out of me at 4 a.m. I have to leave the water dripping for him. Jeremy says, I remember a friend of mine gave her cat a bath, had to leave the poor thing for a bit for the soap to work, and the whole time coming from the bathroom loudly was, no, no. Hardware Hacker says, and yikes, that repair job was something. Yeah, yeah. DSS tape fixes everything. Yes, we have a fanny Mac and a gaping hole. That is some old masking tape there. But what is a fanny Mac? Well, I guess, well, you're looking at it, and it does, I guess it's the fan for your Mac if you didn't want to buy a system saver. But it basically is a fan in a little plastic thing. And there's the cord that goes into your Mac. But yeah, it's got to pass through. You can't plug extra peripherals into it. But yeah, it's got the cool logo on the top of it. Kind of tried to make it look like a Oriental fan, I think. There, the Fanny Mac. Ian says, I don't believe there were vents in the back of the handle. I actually... Oh, before I forget. So if you're wondering, it was manufactured by Beck Tech of Berkeley, California, patent pending. Although, quite honestly, I don't know what patent you could get on that, because I would think any patent would be obvious. I was doubting there were vents down there, but there actually are. You were today years old when you discovered that there actually are vents down in the handle. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing disassembled because there is something rattling inside of it. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the battery cover door because there is a screw hiding behind there. All right. I did forget to grab my screwdriver. Oh, but my 1/4-inch nut driver will work. So let's see here. All right, I believe this Mac has been opened before. I don't know if it's true for the 512K. I'd have to go grab one and look at it. Although I do have a Mac 512K with the system saver on it, and the system saver does click into the handle, so I have a feeling the vents are there. Yes, I got a Mac 512K that actually has a RAM upgrade card in it, so it's actually fairly decent 512K. All right, so let me get these screws out of the handle. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to do... Yeah, I'll definitely have to get that Mac Plus with the video card. Definitely going to have to get it apart so I can service the floppy drive. So I can then put it back together, and then hopefully we'll hopefully get video out from the Mega Graphics card. In fact, knowing the pinout, maybe I might be able to... Maybe there might be a way to get an RGB to HDMI profile going. Then you get a digital out. I mean, knowing the horizontal and vertical resolution is at least part of the battle. All right. Oh, actually, I should try this trick here. So there is a trick for getting these open. If you don't have a Mac cracker, if you put these screws in partially, then you can push down on the screws. And that will at least push the case away on the bottom. And then hopefully the case will just come right off now. Now that I've got a separated. I have never seen a Mac cracker in real life. All right, so what has been rattling around in this Mac? Oh, look, I've got a Steve Jobs signature. Rare, rare. I know what I got. No low balls. All right, I heard the mystery. Oh, there we go. It's a chunk. Oh, I bet that's the part of the plastic that came off the top of the case. Oh, yeah, that is totally half of the so we got one piece of the case. Unfortunately, the other one might have been lost, or maybe it's still rattling around in here. So oh boy. All right, I am glad I didn't full send this one. All right, so half of the HOLE, yes. Or I guess half of the WHOLE, yeah. Half of the whole hole. All right. This Mac Plus has two problems to being powered up. The first one we can overcome with the soldering iron. The second one, despite the fact that someone wrote new here, is a little more troubling. So I have disconnected the power cable. Oh! I just heard a piece of plastic. What am I caught on? Oh, I forgot to unplug the... Ta-da! That's the good news. The good news is, I think I can glue the case back together. David Starbucks says, it was new once. All right, so the good news is, I can glue the case back together. I'll just have to get some Gorilla Glue. The bad news is, the reefa cap is the least of our problems. This thing's had a battery leak onto it. Look at... Harder Hacker says, I see what you did there. But Tom says, but the vintage masking tape. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, the battery has leaked. all over this board. So, Mega says, oh no, parts machine. 0.5 says, it's like Christmas morning. Yeah, I know. Just, yeah, it's like, song escaped me. Never mind. All right, moving on. Yeah, it looks like snow, except that's not snow. Well, let me get some isopropyl alcohol and let's see what might happen with a little bit of elbow grease. Jeremy says, or machine to run experiments. I don't know. I don't know what kind of experiments you might be suggesting. I mean, I probably have a Mac Plus. I might have a spare Mac Plus logic board, truth be told. Actually, I'm not sure that this case is... Oh, yeah, it belongs. Hardware Hacker says, bets on how long before Justin spills it. Yeah. Ooh, I just realized the flyback transformer doesn't look too hot either. Because this piece here looks like it's corroded, although maybe it'll work. The rest of the analog board looks okay. I think it somehow missed the battery leakage. I mean, the battery terminals are corroded. Yeah, I'll have to remove the refub before I power this up. Yeah, the flyback does look crusty. The tube looks like it's in good shape. I mean, the floppy drive looks like it's probably in good shape. There's probably a way to fix it. Ian says, I am not a fan of flyback transformers. All right, let's see what we might be able to do about this. Oh, I'm not going to salvage the tube. I'm going to salvage the computer. We don't give up early just because there's a little battery corrosion. Except when I go on eBay and find SNES motherboards, but that's a story for another day. Ian says, I had a bad experience with one in 1986. I touched it while it was plugged in on a running SE. Ouch. Yeah, I think we can fix this Mac Plus, even if it's by means of I go to my spare parts pile and grab a Mac Plus logic board. Stian says, 0 out of 10, do not recommend. I'm going to put it 0 out of 11 kilovolts, do not recommend. Yeah, I think we can fix this. I'm not going to give up on it just yet. But I'm trying to figure out where to set this so that I don't, like, turn it into a, oops, I broke the tube moment. Because I've already tried knocking this over multiple times. I think I have a spare Mac Plus board. Or I thought I did. I just looked at where I thought it was, and I don't see it. Ian says, that works to paralyze my arm temporarily. Ouch. All right, so there we go. Got the isopropyl alcohol container of, I will probably spill it. We will pour out some isopropyl alcohol. If I get to a point where I want to try to power this up, I will use a adapter so that we don't have to use the analog board. I'm going to use my fancy toothbrush. Okay, one thing I am noticing is I believe this is a 1 megabyte Mac Plus. I don't think anyone's upgraded it. Okay, and if anyone's wondering about the SNES motherboard, I was browsing eBay, the place where I buy the things I later regret, and I happened upon a listing for a RGB02 motherboard, which, from what I can tell, is supposed to be one of the better motherboard revisions. And the PPU chips on it and the CPU chips on it are generally reliable. And in a moment of weakness, partly fueled by the fact that eBay told me that someone else had it in their cart, I bought it. So there you go. That's the preview. That's the story. And maybe that story is my vote of confidence on the chips I bought from the eBay seller that were tested, but no returns after you install them. Mega says, what happened with the fuse on the other one? It should self-reset. Well, I didn't have time last night to go back and check, but so I don't know if it ever self-reset. Jesse says, lesson is never show weakness. Oh, spoiler alert. I would have probably paid less by buying this motherboard if it had been listed when I went to go look for chips. I would have paid less for this motherboard than I would have the two chips, that one of which may or may not actually work. If we have a moment at the end of the stream, I'll pull the SNES motherboard out. We won't test it, but we can see if the fuse is reset. I guess I really wish I didn't miss that stream now. Yeah, I guess the summary of that repair is I removed the wrong chip. I installed the new version of the chip I removed because I'd bought a spare for both PPUs. I removed PPU 2, I meant to remove PPU 1. And, well, you'll just have to watch to see what else happened. But I ended that repair with a blown poly fuse. Ideally, I'd probably put this board in an ultrasonic cleaner. to get in under these chips. And I probably will do it, but I think at least for tonight, I think isopropyl alcohol will... Actually, you know, it's looking fairly clean. Well, my isopropyl alcohol begs to differ, but... Alright. I don't know, and Tom says, I've never tried tossing a whole motherboard in Heppo rust. Oh, I just used ultrasonic, like board. It's the same stuff you would use to clean a new PCB after manufacturing. There's nothing really special about the cleaner I use in my ultrasonic cleaner. Mega says, someone at the VCF meetups should bring an ultrasonic cleaner and charge $10 for anything you can fit in the tub. All right. Well, Mac Plus Reload. Yeah, that's. I've already started that project, Jeremy, but it's reloaded boards are last resort for me, especially given how expensive the PCBs would be to order. Just because of how big the PCB is. Yeah, it's cleaning up better than I thought. Oh, hi, Mike's Future Retro. Welcome. I mean, you know, that's not a bad idea. And I could be convinced to try something like that. The only problems I could see with that station would be, yes, the person could clean the boards, but drying them could be a problem. But then again, I guess the fact that if you clean the board, well, rinsing it could be a problem too. Unless you can work with the VCF event and be near a sink. Oh, Mike says, I'm at work, so I'm only listening. Alright, the contact cleaner is just so it flashes off quicker. Alright, so... Alright, 2+ board, I cleaned the corrosion off the top. I think the bottom of the board looked okay. I got a few drips of rust from something, but... The bottom of the board looked fine when I opened it. I think the corrosion might have limited itself to the top. Oh, I see a little bit more here. Let me just take one of these and see if I can't. Alright, so of the components I see, I'm kind of worried about the filter chips because there's rust down here, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to get into it that much. That's probably the point where I'll have to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner. So it is possible those are going to need to be replaced. This chip's got rust on it. But maybe we can power this up with an external adapter. All right, so, Thomas Armstrong says power's back on. What did I miss? Oh, okay, so the first Mac Plus, I stopped because I couldn't get the logic board out. So I got to try to figure out how to approach taking the thing apart so I can... I either need to figure out how to take it apart so I can fix the floppy drive in it, or find my external floppy EMU adapter. One or the other. I couldn't find the external adapter, and it's not going to be easy disassembling it. I couldn't get the logic board out. There's not enough room for me to unplug all the cables, much less plug them back in. Then we went through the floppy disks, and now we're on the other Mac Plus, and I just cleaned battery corrosion. Thomas Armstrong says, bend the frame. Is it rusty? The frame is actually not rusty on this one. The first one, the frame is bent, and I still can't get the logic board out. Like, I can tell where someone bent the frame out, probably in an attempt to get the board out, and I can't get the board out. So, there's not really much else I can do. I'm going to have to figure out how to take the system apart with the upgrade board that's in it. All right, so this one, I'm going to use an ATX power supply to try to power the board up. Which means I need the power cable from the analog board. All right. Oh, if I can get it out. Thomas Armstrong says, while that's stuck, take the front case off. Take the front case off of what? You can't take the front of a Mac Plus off without taking everything else out first. All right. There we go. So this adapter I have will power the Mac Plus logic board up from the power supply, and with the Raspberry Pi that's on this, the Pi Pico that's on this board, it will convert the video signal to VGA. All I got to do is take the original video cable, what's the video and power cable, plug it into the logic board, and instead of plugging this other end into the analog board, I plug it into this adapter. can get one of these at jcm-1.com. So there we go. And now, with this adapter, I can plug in a standard ATX power supply and power the board up, and we can see what it does. And through the magic of modern power supplies, if there were to be a short on this board, then the power supply is just probably going to go into short circuit protection mode. So it'll be a lot less dramatic than it could be. Here, I can reach power supply. Does the adapter have a speaker on it? No, it does not. And 11:32 p.m. for anyone that was placing bets on when I would spill the isopropyl alcohol. The time of spillage was 11:32 p.m. I wish this adapter had a speaker on it, but it does not. And I guess that would probably be feedback I'd have to give to Ron, because Ron's made the adapter board. But it does have VGA, which means I need to push the VGA button there. All right, so plug power into the power supply here. And, all right, 3, 2, 1. Oh, hold on. Oh, it would help if I had the smart outlet turned on. All right. 3, 2, 1. There we go. We got power. Oh, hold on. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Look at that. The image on my multi-sync monitor looks much better. All right, so let's turn that off. Let's plug in that. And let me go grab the keyboard and, well, actually, you know, I don't think I need the keyboard. I just need the mouse. I can start. Yeah, I'm just going to use the mouse. I don't need the keyboard. This is a Macintosh. All right, turn that back on. Yeah, I got a boot disk. It's emulated. You'll never guess which one I picked. Actually, you probably will. Yeah, it's a plus. We just cleaned that corrosion right off, and it powered right up. It's my nemesis, the Snooper 2.0 emergency disc. All right. We can turn these off. I don't have the loopback plugs. All right. And let's start. Oh, we do indeed have 1 megabyte of RAM. Shocker. Going to 4 megabytes would require me to go find some Sims. Yeah, I know 4 megabytes all I would ever need, but I will have to find some Sims. I mean, I probably have some 1 megabyte Sims floating around, but I'll have to find them. Alright, so the analog board that was with this one will probably need some work. But at least it looks like the logic board, as far as I'm going to be able to test it without dongles, it looks like the logic board's working. I'll run it through the ultrasonic cleaner and clean it up. Who knows? Maybe I might be able to clean it tomorrow night. Well, yeah, console 5 kit for the analog board, except I already placed my console 5 order today. I wasn't thinking. I had other things I wanted to order console 5 caps for. So, I'll actually, I may have a cap kit for an analog board. Yeah, I wanted to get caps for the PlayStation 1s and the Nintendo 64 and the Super Nintendos. Because I kind of really want to, like, have those running. Because actually, the spare PlayStation 1s, I'd kind of like to maybe start gradually selling them. So, yeah, that I wanted to order the cap kits for those so I could maybe refurbish those and whittle down the duplicates that I have of PlayStation 1s. Oh yeah, and if anyone's wondering, the PlayStation 1 that has the bonus item in it, that one's mine. I'm keeping it. I am keeping the bonus item all to myself. Yep, recapped and cleaned. Yep, I'm gonna recap and clean them. And because I've got 2 PlayStation 1s that I picked up earlier this year. Those are in my pile to recap. And then the 3 from yesterday that I confirmed are working, I'm going to recap those as well and clean the case and make them look good. And I think I'm going to keep a 9001 and probably keep I think it's a 1001 because it's got the built-in AV ports. And then probably the rest I'll put on my coffee store. I I don't know what I'll sell them for yet, but I'll definitely look to see what they're going for and make sure the price is fair. So if you're interested in a PlayStation 1 that I've refurbished and recapped, then I'll obviously make an announcement when I list some, but that was kind of the goal for a couple of them, is kind of refurb them, recap them, clean them up, make them look good. Make sure I have at least an AV cable and a power cable for them. At the moment, I have in what I'm really it's PlayStation 1s. Also, I do have like keycaps. I've got some keycaps for some old systems from keyboards that are like not really repairable. If those PlayStation 1s are going for that amount. Oh, okay. I will note that if I do sell systems, I am not installing bonus items in them, because some rights holders get really, really mad when you do that. And I'm also not going to install optical drive replacement, so I'm only going to sell the ones that have working optical drives. Well, I mean, I may sell some for parts if the optical drive's the only problem, but it'll be a you install that yourself type deal. Also, I will see about what I can do about at least being able to include a controller. That's like the only part that is up in the air. I don't have any spare controllers. Hi, Jack. Welcome. Anyways, stay tuned for that. This might have been a half-baked idea I had, but anyways. Also, I will eventually get some keycaps listed. I've got keycaps for keyboards. I don't know if they do or not, Stian, but I don't want to find out the hard way. I mean, the answer is probably not, but the thing is, though, here's the thing. I don't know that I could. I guess the reason why I don't want to install optical drive replacements in them is I can't. I don't think I'd be able to get enough out of the system to justify it, because I would be buying the optical drive replacement at retail, and then I have to put my labor into installing it. So I don't think I can get out of the system enough to justify installing an optical drive replacement. I think that there are some places that'll do it for you, but they also sell the optical drive replacement, so theoretically they're getting the optical drive replacements at wholesale, or even having them made, that they're having the PCBs made, and so they're in it for the raw product cost. Yeah, I got to send you the SC30. I got to send that to you. I know, Dave. I just have to. The thing is, to send you the SC30, I have to remove the CRT. And for that, I got to make sure I have a space to put a CRT for a month or so, where it's not going to get damaged. So anyways, yep, I know, I gotta send that to you. I'll try to get that out to you this month. Alright, so it looks like this logic board works. So yeah. I mean, I haven't tried the keyboard port yet. This is just with the mouse. But anyways, it booted into macOS. We're running snooper. We have large swaths of functionality at this point. I'm fairly sure if I plugged a keyboard in, that's probably going to work, because that was nowhere near the corrosion. So I am concerned about the analog board that was in that case. But anyways, maybe it's fine. I think this is probably where I'm going to stop for the evening. But, okay, I don't know what Windows was trying to tell me. Oh, wait, or is that OBS trying to tell me something? Oh, that's OBS. Dave says you can put the CRT under your pillow. Anyways, all right, so Thursday. Yep. Please archive the floppies. I will, Stian. At least the ones that aren't personal data. Thomas says, as long as the flyback and tube are good, everything is fixable. I do have questions about the flyback transformer of this second system. That's why I'm not going to try to power it up tonight. Because it's like 12 till. I'm getting tired. I don't feel like firing the desoldering station up again to remove another reef of capacitor, because then we'll be past midnight. So we're going to draw the stream to a close here. So Thursday, we're going to be looking at the SE. I'd like to get that back together. And maybe if I get that back together, then I'll have a space to put the SE30 parts so I can send Dave the case. So that's kind of one reason I'd like to get that back together, is so that the SE is not taking up valuable shelf space with its parts. Yeah, Jack says I have to watch the beginning of the stream so I can see Wheel of Regrets. Yes, we did have a Wheel of Regrets entry tonight. I wish I had it yesterday, but it came in today, so oh well. But anyways, yeah, so with that, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. If you like it when I go pick up these Facebook Marketplace finds, including Mac Pluses that have these old video boards in them. Cian says, YouTube's dev random notification feature didn't notify me. So, anyways, I'm sure that Mac Plus will return to the channel at some point when I figure out how to try to see if this video card works. At least now I've got a GitHub that's got drivers on it, so that's a plus. Pun intended. And yeah, Thursday we'll look at the SE, and then more fun later. Is there a Discord? I do not. Well, okay, I have a Discord, but it's not set up for prime time. Someday. But I've been a member of enough Discords that were hot messes that I gotta set it up right. But anyways, so with that, I think I'm going to draw the stream to a close. I hope to see you all here Thursday. Thanks for hanging out the chat, being cool, the data information. And yeah, thanks again to Tom Arnold for the 2 Mac Pluses. And oh, there was one other thing I didn't have a chance to show tonight. I didn't even bring it downstairs. There was one other thing I picked up. Tom Arnold had a logic analyzer listed on Facebook Marketplace, and I did pick that up. We'll look at that another time. So anyways, with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And let me make sure I'm got my finger in the right place. So, yep, hope to see you all here Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. So, take care and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon. and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.